Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk TCI Real Estate. Please please share the page. Please invite someone to come on. Today's opportunity on Let's Talk TCI Real Estate is really about questions and answers. Yes, I said it correct, questions and answers, meaning it's an opportunity for you to ask any question that you may have about real estate, and also give me an opportunity to answer those questions for you. So if you have any questions during this time, I will ask you to put it in the comment section and I will do my best to answer those questions. If for any reason you ask a question that I'm not able to answer, then definitely leave your contact information with me. You can private message me if you don't want to leave your contact in the comment section, and I will be sure to get back to you with a response to your question. So again, I would like to say share the page, and please encourage anyone that you know is interested in real estate, whether buying real estate, selling real estate, or understanding more about the real estate market in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Please log on. Please bring any question you may have. It's an opportunity for you to get your questions answered. So just want to give a little bit more, preliminary before while waiting in case of anyone have any questions. I just want to go just back and say special thanks to Honorable Lillian Mizik. She was actually the guest on the previous segment of Let's Talk TCI Real Estate. And we actually spoke and she shared about what is happening on the island of Grand Turk. So basically that segment covered the, historical sites on Grand Turk. We spoke about the private and public sector opportunities on Grand Turk. We spoke about the way of life of the residents on the island, as well as we spoke about past events, and also we spoke about what we see the future of Grand Turk looking like. Honorable Lillian Mizik, she is very knowledgeable about her hometown, Grand Turk, and it was definitely a pleasure having her on the show. I must also say that I had the privilege of having Ms. Sinclair Musgrove as well, the District Commissioner of North Caicos, and she was on a previous show, and that show was entitled What's Happening on the Island of North Caicos. That show was also very informative. Okay, and in future, I've already set up an interview to have someone come on from the island of South Caicos to be able to also discuss about what's happening on the island of South Caicos. So it's very good to understand what's happening within our islands, especially if you are interested in real estate, because it will give you an insight of what to expect about the various islands within the Turks and Caicos Islands chain. You cannot invest unless you understand what these islands have to offer. And so I am looking forward to that interview about what's happening on South Caicos. And again, I thank Ms. Sinclair Musgrove and Honorable Lillian Mizik for actually sharing with us about the island of North Caicos and the island of Grand Turk. All right. So as I have mentioned before, today's show is actually just a question and answer opportunity for you. If you have a real estate question, please put it in the comment section and I will do my best to get those questions answered for you. And just for anyone who may listen to this show after the live is finished, still feel free to inbox me with any questions you may have, or even put it in the comment section so that others can see your question and I will reply in the feed afterwards so that everyone can get a response to that question that will benefit not just you, but also others who may have had that same question in mind as well. Okay, so please put your questions in the comment section. Now, if there isn't a question, of course, I will talk a little about real estate just so we can know what's happening in real estate in the Turks and Caicos. And I will just touch on a few relevant points that, have come up recently in terms of questions that I have been asked. So I will deliberate on those questions a bit, but definitely don't wait for me to ask. If you have a question, put it in the comment section. I also want to remind everyone that Let's Talk TCI Real Estate is about getting relevant information about real estate in the Turks and Caicos to you via this Facebook medium. So if there is a subject that you would like for me to cover, I'm always open to suggestions, and I will do my best to get that topic to you, right? So let us begin, all right? So like I said, I'm just gonna move forward and talk about questions. I'm actually going to speak on certain topics that persons have asked me about in terms of real estate. But meanwhile, if you have a question, because this show is about answering your question, leave it in the comments section, and then I will stop, answer your question, and then get back to what I'm speaking about. So let's get started. And I'm just gonna let you know, this show is not, it's only for a few minutes. So please don't take too long to get your questions in, because once I've already deliberate on the points that I have prepared for you today, then we're gonna move on to something else, right? So, I have been asked, why is real estate important to a country? I've just jotted down a few points for you. Well, it provides housing for families. It provides wealth for families through appreciation of assets. So definitely, if you have purchased and invested in real estate, you can benefit through the appreciation of your asset. And also you can benefit in terms of wealth from income earned on rental property. So that's a benefit to persons and real estate in a country. Also, real estate creates jobs through new construction. You have construction opportunities for contractors, etc. And then you would also need personnel to manage these developments that are created. So these will provide additional jobs. So basically, real estate helps with the economy, to stimulate the economy of any country, and it provides food, shelter, jobs for the citizens of that country. So that's why real estate is very important. I always encourage anyone, if you have not invested in real estate, I think it's a really good time to invest in real estate, and it's something you should consider, start thinking about if you have not done so already. All right. Another thing that has been brought to my attention that some folks have been asking about, what does the development atmosphere look like on the islands? Well, basically, I can say to you in regards to that question is that the real estate market in the Turks and Caicos is very vibrant, and that there are many new developments that are happening on the islands. When I said islands, yes, that is correct. Not just Providenciales, but also other islands within the chain. It is very important to drive around your island. If you're on North Caicos, if you're in Grand Turk, wherever you are, drive around the island and take a look and see how many new construction projects are actually happening. This is an indication to let you know what's happening. And also, when you see so many projects, it's an indication also about investor confidence within your island. So definitely there are a number of new developments that are happening on the islands, not just Providenciales, but other islands. Yes, I've seen it firsthand, and I do know of a few projects on 2 of the islands per se that are coming on stream hopefully soon, right? So developments are happening on the island. And I would say this also about developments. There are a lot more pre-construction developments that are happening, because currently on the market, you have very low inventory, and therefore the new norm is pre-construction, because you have to get in while pre-construction is happening. That will enable you to find something, because at pre-construction, prices are more reasonable. Once the project is completed, the norm is that developers would increase their prices. So for example, just using a reference, a condo may be worth at pre-construction price. I'm just using a number, $450,000, but once that project is completed, it's definitely gonna worth a bit more, say even at $500,000. So it's a savings by purchasing pre-construction. So there are a number of pre-construction projects that are happening on the island. So don't just sit and say, well, I'll wait until the project is completed. But if you do, you have to be prepared to pay a higher price, okay? If you have any questions, it doesn't have to be about what I am talking about. It can be about anything. Any real estate question that you have, please put it in the comments section. Don't be afraid. You know, this is a medium for you to be able to express yourself about what you're thinking about real estate in the Turks and Caicos, and also be able to ask those questions that you may not otherwise have an opportunity to do so. All right? So I will keep pausing to say, ask your questions. All right, another thing that, you know, I've been asked about over and over again in terms of, you know, condo and condo management, right? So just a general idea to let you know what's going on with condos. You have to know that if you invest in a condo on the island, that one of the main goal for most people is about, you know, rental income. So condos are normally for persons who are thinking about a second home or an investment property in terms of bringing in revenue. So just say, for example, it doesn't have to be a resident a non-resident. Residents also make use of this opportunity where you will purchase a condo and allow it to generate income as an investment for you, right? So you need to know that most condo developments, they make it mandatory that you use their management company that is on site. One of the main reasons that they are doing this is to keep the services to guests consistent and to retain the value of price and services at the resort, okay? Now, there are one or two developments that would allow you to use your own property management company. Not many, but there are one or two. So this is something you would want to consider when you're purchasing a condo. You know, you would want to find out, okay, is it mandatory to use a management site? Or is it not mandatory? Some people prefer to use the management site because all they need to do is just pay for their condo and leave it in the hands of the management, turn their backs, get their rental statement each month, and you know, go as they want and do as they want to do. While on the other hand, some people prefer to be hands-on with management of their condo, and some people feel like it's more financially rewarding by not being a part of the management. Because, for example, the management normally would charge a 50-50 split or 40-60 split. However, if you are managing your own condo, then you would not have to pay those fees to the management. You can go with a property manager that you're comfortable with, and you can actually select from the services that that property manager offers you. And let me break it down a little bit smaller. So for example, once again, you may decide as an owner of a condo to do your own bookings, whether it's by Airbnb, by VRBO, or whatever method that you see that is of value to you. And then you can just find a property manager who you may just need to do the groundworks for you. So there's a savings. So that property manager will be able to give you a copy of their management contract and be able to just offer you the services that are required for what you specifically need. So that helps people with savings. So I'm saying all of this so that if you are purchasing a condo, you know, these are things you want to think about. Do you want to be using the management? Do not want to use the management? So that's a question you can ask your realtor. Okay, are these properties, should these properties have to use the management or not? Okay. The other thing I would say is you may want to consider a townhome. Yes, definitely. If you cannot find a condo where you can manage it on your own, then your next option is think about a townhome. This is where you are able to use your own property management, definitely, and where you would be paying, like I say, also monthly strata fees per square foot will be less. Okay, so I can use another example. If you have a condo unit, just as a reference, you maybe have 700 square feet. And so per month, just say you may end up, I'm just using numbers because every development, just so you know, disclaimer, every development, the strata fee is different. And it's also different because of square foot, and it's different because of the amenities that the resort offers. So therefore, I'm just using a general reference. If you are purchasing a condo, just say it's 700 square foot, you may be paying a monthly fee of, say, approximately $500 a month for 700 square foot. And that may just be a studio unit, right? However, you may be able to get a townhome, which is about 1,300 square feet, and then you will be able to pay the same $500 or $550 per month. So it's like you're getting more value for your per square feet. So I'm saying this because then, of course, you can rent a 2-bedroom as a townhome for more money than you can rent a studio unit out for. So as a person making a purchase, you may not want to go the condo route. Perhaps you may want to go the townhome route because your strata per month may be lower for the amount of square feet. And also you can manage it on your own. I hope that makes sense. So these are just, one or two tips about condos and condo management. This question comes up all the time, so it's something you will need to know. There are a lot of things you would want to know about purchasing a condo, but I'm just giving you this specific information based on recent conversation with a potential purchaser, just trying to explain to them about management at a condo resort. All right. Again, if you have a question, please put it in the comment section because this is what the show is about today. I am here to answer any real estate question you may have. It doesn't have to be specific to Providenciales. It can be real estate questions in general in the Turks and Caicos, any question that you have. Put your question in. If there isn't any question, I will keep talking. But put your question in or add a comment. Let me know if I need to clarify anything for you that I'm speaking about. I am more than happy to repeat myself as I put this information out to you. All right. So the other thing I would like to touch on is reservation deposit. What is a reservation deposit? So basically, if you are making an offer on a property, if you're making an offer on a real estate property, whether it be vacant land or a developed property, one of the requirements is actually that you would need to put down a reservation deposit. Okay, a reservation deposit. Thank you. I see a question. Let me just finish my sentence here, and then I will definitely answer the question that it was placed in the comment. So a reservation deposit. Now, so what I would say about reservation deposits is what the reservation deposit does is to take the property off the market and allow you to now fulfill any contingencies that may be associated with purchasing that property. Okay? So for example, if you are making an offer and it's subject to financing, or if it's subject to an inspection, or if it's subject to something else, you will place a reservation deposit, takes the property off the market, give you an opportunity to be able to fulfill that requirement so that you can then be satisfied and move forward to complete the purchase. So when purchasing, you should be prepared to have a deposit on hand to take this property off the market. The reservation deposit is not a set amount. So, but I would suggest you think about at least 1% of the purchase price of the property and use that as a standard when saving towards what this reservation deposit is going to be. A seller may request less of a reservation deposit, but I would say use that 1% as a standard so at least you would be prepared no matter what is asked of you in terms of the reservation deposit. So just to answer the question, so where is the best place would you recommend to study real estate? Okay, so basically, if you are interested in real estate in the Turks and Caicos Islands, I would say this. If you are a resident of the island, you do not have to be a member of the Turks and Caicos Real Estate Association in order to sell real estate. However, I would recommend that you become a part of the association because there is great value in being a member when selling real estate, and you are monitored by that body that makes you accountable and help you with the whole process. And I am starting by saying that because there isn't an actual school that I am aware of in the Turks and Caicos Islands that will help you in terms of real estate. And even though, just say you may go away to study, a lot of the way how real estate is carried out in the Turks and Caicos Islands is a bit different from how it may be carried out in the United States or in the Bahamas or somewhere else. I would suggest to anyone who is interested in pursuing a career in real estate, if you are just say on island and is not going away to school, what you need to do is to associate yourself with one of the real estate companies. Once you have done that, then there is a real estate examination that you would take. At that time, you would be given a study manual in which you which use to study for the exam, which will give you all the tools that you need to become a real estate agent. So once you've associated yourself with a real estate company, you can go on tcrea.com. There is a list of companies, and they will then be able to direct you in the path in which to study for the exam and to take the exam to be able to become a real estate agent in the Turks and Caicos Islands. I hope that answers your question. But I would say to persons, if you are in school, like school kids, you need to, like you say, think in advance about what you want to do. If you want to get in this field, what you can do is, reach out to some of the companies about probably doing an internship, reach out to an agent about understudying them, but I would say also, I want you to focus on, subjects such as the history of the island. This is very important because in real estate, you really need to understand what your island have to offer, because what you are actually doing is selling your country to everyone. That's what you're doing. So you want to understand the history of the Turks and Caicos Islands, what it has to offer in order to be able to sell a product. All right, I hope that answers your question. Okay, any other questions? Please put it in the comment section and I will be sure to answer those real estate questions for you. All right, while waiting, any other questions? Let's just talk about restrictive covenants just for a little bit. So basically, not all areas on the island actually would have a subdivision with restrictive covenants. I know this is a subject that most times when you speak to anyone and they say, well, I am interested in purchasing, a property, whether it be vacant land or a home, and you mention, okay, well, the subdivision may have restrictive covenants, they tend to shy away from it. Everyone has their own opinion about why they would like to be in a subdivision or not be in a subdivision that has restrictive covenants. But I would say that of recent, you have a lot more people who are attaching restrictive covenants to their land parcels once they have created a subdivision. The reason for doing this is actually, to help maintain the value of the land or maintain the value of the property. The restrictive covenants may be negative in nature, but sometimes if you go through it, you can see that they are only things that are going to be beneficial to helping you maintain the value of your real estate. Okay. I would encourage you, if there is a restrictive agreement or covenant within any subdivision you are looking to purchase in, before you say no, take a look at the restrictive covenants, because in most cases, sometimes it is something that you can live with, and it's nothing that is detrimental to your well-being. But in most cases, it's helping you. So an example of things that may be a part of a restrictive covenant, you're not allowed to have dilapidated vehicles outside your yard, or you're not allowed to have clotheslines in the front of your yard. I'm just using one or two things that may be in a restrictive covenant. It may say that every home must have, garbage receptacles outside, or you must fence in your yard. These things are just to help with maintaining the value. But I will say there are some restrictive covenants that are in Turks Island terms way out there that may, be a little bit for you to manage. I wouldn't say to you, oh yes, take on that property, but I would just encourage you, view the restrictive covenants before you say no. And because I think that it's only beneficial in most cases for you. So some areas that have restrictive covenants is like leeward through the gate. So if you want to be in the leeward area of Providenciales, you have to be aware that there are restrictive covenants. If you want to be in the Richmond Hill Commons area, there are restrictive covenants. If you want to be, say, like Clark Estates or Tradewind Estates, there are restrictive covenants. If you want to be in Chalk Sound in the Harbor Gates, there are restrictive covenants. So some of the prominent areas, there are restrictive covenants, and they're prominent because of they're upkeeping the area, the environment that you are living in. All right. So that's what I would like to say about restrictive covenants. Again, do you have any questions? Do you have any comments? Please put it in the section. I am more than happy to answer any real estate question that you have today. If you don't have any questions, I will keep talking, but let me know if you have any real estate question. Please feel free to put it in the comment section. It's important. Sometimes we have questions and we don't know where to ask, or we are waiting for an opportunity. This is your opportunity to ask that real estate question. And I'm not afraid to say if I don't know the answer, but I am definitely here and willing to answer as many questions as I can. So what are some of the tips then while waiting for another question? If you are looking to buy real estate, my advice as a real estate agent to you is, one, get pre-qualified. I know I've said this so many times on these shows. Get pre-qualified. Why are you getting pre-qualified? You are getting pre-qualified so that you can understand what you can afford and you would be able to move quickly when you have an opportunity to purchase a property. With this market that we are in right now, it is a seller's market because you have more buyers and you have less inventory. So it's very competitive. And this means that you must be able to move quickly when a property that you see that you are interested in is available. So the only way you are able to move quickly is if you are pre-qualified, so that you know right away what you are able to make an offer for on that particular property. So contact your loan officer, have them pre-qualify you so that you are prepared and ready to make the move when a property becomes available. Okay. Definitely, if you don't have contact with a loan officer, no matter the agent you are working with, we all have, one or two persons who we work closely with that we can help you in getting an appointment or help in getting someone to reach out to you from one of the banks and able to help get you pre-qualified. And you would find that when you pre-qualify, sometimes you find out information that you didn't think really mattered. It matters. For example, you may say, hey, I would like to purchase a property with me and just say of a friend. The requirements are different depending on who you are applying for a loan or mortgage with. So these are things you want to get done in advance, right? Next thing, have your real estate agent set you up on their client PCS. What it does is that you will be notified of new listings as they become available. So the reason you want to be set up so you can be notified of new listings. So for example, you walk into my office and you say to me, Vernica, I'm interested in purchasing a property and I am pre-qualified for $100,000. At the moment, there may not be any property that is available within your price range at $100,000. So what your agent or what I can do for you is to put you in our client PCS where at any time, if a property becomes available at that price point, you would automatically be notified. So you may say, well, why is that a benefit to you? I can just go on TCREA and see what's happening. The truth of the matter is, yes, you can, but not every day you are going to go on that site and be looking for properties. And say you may have gone on the site in the morning, but a property is listed 7 p.m. in the afternoon, you may not have had that opportunity to have seen that property. But by being a part of the client PCS, that PCS would notify you immediately as that property becomes available. Again, giving you an opportunity to act quickly in order to move on that property, especially because there's such a demand for inventory and to get certain properties within price range, okay? Again, if you have questions, if you have comments, please leave it in the section. This show is about answering any real estate question that you may have. The other tip I would give to you is to do your research in advance. If you are thinking about applying, so for example, for stamp duty waiver, get a copy of the policy and read about it. Read and see what is required in advance so that you are ready to make the submission when you now is ready to make that purchase. We have a lot of people who said, I want to get the stamp duty waiver, but you have no idea about what it entails. It is good to depend on others, but also you can just go to the gov.tc website and you can pull down the policy in its entirety so that you would be able to see what qualifies you for the stamp duty waiver. You can also find the application that you can fill out. You can find also what are the requirements and what documents you need to provide when you apply for the stamp duty waiver. Please do your research in advance. Everything is a process. So you could also understand how long it will take for you to get a response for the qualification of the waiver. So on that note, I would say, when you are applying for the stamp duty waiver, you would want to have that approval letter from the ministry. I think the letter comes from the customs department, but from the ministry, saying to you that you are approved, so that when your transaction is completed, that approval letter can be submitted along with your documents as it is registered in your name to the land registry department. Okay, so you would want to get this process started right away. Your attorney can assist you with this process, or you can also do the process on your own. But do your research in advance. so you could make sure get your information. It is straightforward, but of course, there's different documents that are required for different situations, and it all depends on who's applying. Are you applying as a husband and wife? Are you applying as a business entity? Are you applying as a single person? All these things make a difference, and this information is shared within the policy document. So once again, gov.tc, and that's about stamp duty waiver reduction, right? So do your research in advance. So whatever it is that you need to research, please do it in advance. I'm just using that as a reference. All right. So no questions, no comments. All right. I want to say one other thing, and then perhaps then we just will wrap it up if you don't have any real estate questions. So the other thing I would like to say as a real estate tip about if you are looking to buy, be open to adjusting your open to adjusting what it is you are looking for in terms of a real estate property. We all have an idea of what we would like to acquire, right? But sometimes it may be ideal to you, but it may not be ideal to what's happening in the market. Also, so let me just use an example. You may be looking, for example, to purchase, say, a 1-acre parcel. And you may say that, okay, I am pre-qualified for 150,000 because I am looking to build an apartment complex, right? Sometimes you would find that you may not be able to find a 1-acre lot at 150,000. But that doesn't mean that you cannot still fulfill your dream of building an apartment complex, because an apartment complex can be built on a property that may be less than 1 acre. So you may have to change the mindset of you wanting 1 acre and realize that, hey, I can accomplish this on ½ acre, and it doesn't have to be 1 acre. The zoning of the lot will make a difference as to how many units you can build. So not because 1 acre is a large lot means that you only need 1 acre parcel in order to build an apartment complex. And of course, that's a conversation you can have with your real estate agent, and they can direct you on what's the best option for you. I am saying this because as an agent, sometimes we are just stuck on what we think we want, and we do not want to think out of the box as purchasers to be able to fit in our price range what we can afford. Okay? So, and sometimes finding something at 1 acre may be very difficult. I will tell you the truth. It's very difficult to find a 1 acre lot at $150,000 at this point in time. And again, because lots are being subdivided smaller, because land is scarce and the demand for it is great. All right. So you may have something in mind that you're thinking about in terms of real estate, but sometimes just be a little bit open to adjusting your idea about achieving your goal about your purchase, but you may have to tweak your requirements a little bit to make it a reality. I hope that is understandable. So one last opportunity, if you have a real estate question or you have a real estate comment, please do so at this point in time, right? So, okay. So if there isn't anything further, and the show is really about just asking your questions, and having me help you to understand it better. So if you don't have any questions, I would say to you, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. And I would also say, if you didn't feel comfortable to add your question to the live feed, you can always privately inbox me, and I will be more than happy to send you a response to your question. All right. So definitely I would do another section, like a segment of ask your questions. and or leave your comments, because I always feel like it's important. You may not have a question today, but perhaps another day you may have a question about real estate. And guess what? That's what Let's Talk TCI Real Estate is all about, getting your real estate questions answered for you. All right? So thank you once again for listening. And I will say to all those out there, until next time, stay safe and remain blessed. Have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed on this show belong solely to Let's Talk TCI Real Estate and not that of Keller Williams TCI or any of its affiliates. Any action you take upon the information provided on this show is strictly at your own risk, and Let's Talk TCI Real Estate guests or hosts will not be liable for any losses and damages in connection with the use of the material. I am not an investment advisor, broker, or dealer.